I want to bring up our first speaker, Joe, from Alvarado Investments.
I do see some Bears fans here. I think I might be speaking literally when they're making their first pick. So if they select Caleb Williams, can someone shout Caleb for me, please? Hopefully I hear Caleb. And then number 9 pick as well, so keep an eye out for that for me. So, you know I love real estate, but I'm going to miss the draft. Most important day in Bears history probably, but I love real estate that much. So yeah, Joe Alvarado. Been on Charles' team now for like 5 months, 6 months. Just became a realtor 6 months ago. Got into real estate literally 4 years ago. Yesterday was my kind of 4-year anniversary mark. And just a quick show of hands, just kind of gauge the audience. Who is looking to invest but has never invested before? So any newbies you would call? Okay, a couple newbies. Okay, yeah, just be honest. It's a safe room. And who actually has invested before? Like seasoned. Okay, so we got quite a few. Cool. All right, so my story, father, family of 4, have a wife, live out in the western suburbs. Literally just got into real estate 4 years ago. Before 4 years ago, I could barely hang up a heavy mirror on drywall, right? So I was not your typical kind of real estate investor who's been bred up and was a realtor for a while. I kind of just jumped right into it. I've been an executive in corporate retail for companies like Sears, Target, Walgreens now for 15 years or so. So I went to Notre Dame, U of I, kind of mastered in finance, got my MBA in corporate finance. So I am pretty good at numbers, but I was definitely not a handyman. My dad right there was for the family, our engineer and architect. I did not get that skill set. It took some time, but I've been figuring it out. And since 2020, about 4 years ago, I'm now at roughly 13, 14 units right now in literally 4 years. And real estate has been a game changer for me. And my hobbies are, I actually met Charles at the Muay Thai gym. That's how we met. He can kick some ass, so be careful with him. So my real estate strategy. I do poor man investing, right? So I don't have $1 million. I'm not sitting on a ton of assets, a ton of equity. I had some cash back in 2020. I was sitting on maybe $40,000 in cash. I did have good credit. And I've been leveraging the BRRRR strategy. So, you know, the philosophy that I've been kind of following the past 4 years is the money that I do have, I recycle it. And I'll show you how I do that with the BRRRR strategy. I'm having bigger plans now for 2025. But the past 4 years, just kind of getting my feet wet, testing the market, recycling my cash, building a network of realtors, of lenders, of attorneys, contractors, and so far I've been absolutely loving it. So why did I get into real estate? When you have 4 kids and a wife at home, you're the breadwinner, obviously you need to make more money, right? And I was kind of looking at my long-term trajectory. Yeah, I was saving. I put money into my 401k, but it wasn't cutting it. I did not see the light at the end of the tunnel of early retirement anytime soon. So I said, I got to get some assets. I need to get some equity. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read all these bigger pocketbooks. Brandon Turner, I love that guy. I just kind of deep dove into research and analysis and books, and you need to own assets. You need to own your time. You need to have money work for you. And I wasn't doing that in my corporate world. So I said, how do I shift that? Real estate had always been in the back of my mind. My mom was a realtor back in the day. My dad was an engineer and architect. So maybe that seed was planted when I was young. But I kind of got my head wrapped around it about 5 years ago. And just kind of researched and dove in. You know, and I really kind of settled in on the BRRRR strategy, which I'll explain here in a second. Originally, I was thinking about house hacking. So I had a wife, a son at the time, 4 or 5 years ago. But to house hack, you got to find a multi-unit where the mortgage and the payments can be paid by, if you have a 3-flat or a legal 2-flat, and potentially you're living in the in-law unit in the basement, you know, the mortgage needs to be paid off by the first and second unit, right? And the properties that I was finding that were deals were kind of in rough neighborhoods. And my wife was like, yeah, we're not going to be living here. And then also the thought of, you know, her living in while I go to work, and there's other tenants in the building, and sharing common space. She wasn't really comfortable with that. So the house hacking idea kind of went out the window. So you have to find kind of your niche. Everyone's in different life stages, right? Got different things going on. So I said, okay, house hacking might not be the situation for me in my current life situation. What is? And that's where I landed on the BRRRR strategy. So what is BRRRR? Long story short, you buy a distressed home, a home that needs a lot of work, that you feel you can have either double or triple ARV value, right? You buy for $50,000, maybe it'll be worth 100, 150 when fixed up. You refinance it. I tend to do the reverse. I refinance it, then rent it, and then you get your money back after the refi. And that's what I mean by recycling your money. You get that money back from the bank, and then you do it again. Copy and paste, right? And that's the model I've been following to a T. That's why I've been able to do 14 properties in just 4 years. And like I said, I'm not a millionaire. I wasn't a millionaire at the time. But just, how do I recycle the cash and keep using it over and over again? The fear was if I didn't use the BRRRR strategy, I might use $30,000, $40,000 to fix up one property and for the down payment, but then I have to wait to save up more. You have to wait to save more money, right? You got to save, put away cash, get that $30,000 back. I was not willing to wait. I want a scalable solution, a scalable model. I want units under my name, and I want to move fast, and that's why I've been using the BRRRR strategy. So when I look at properties now, the questions I'm always asking myself is, one, can I get my money back with the BRRRR strategy? And then two, what am I prioritizing, net worth or cash flow? Cash flow is kind of difficult right now in this current market. It is possible though, but cash flow is, hey, the mortgage is $1,000 a month, and with rents I can make $1,200 to $1,300. My cash flow is thus $200, $300 a month. That's nice, cash is nice, but at the end of the day, my mind is on net worth and assets, right? On equity. How can I get early retirement? How can I be on a trajectory to become a millionaire soon? And that's where I'm pushing. So the refi of my properties, sitting on my properties, renting them out long term, that's kind of my focus right now. So my first property, exactly 4 years ago yesterday, was in Elwood, Illinois. So, and before I started getting into investments, I kept hearing like, hey, Chicago's not a great market for investors. It's overpriced, it's oversaturated, there's too many sharks in the water, the rents aren't the greatest in the suburbs, so on and so forth. But honestly, out of the 14 properties, 12 have been in the Chicago suburbs, and they all have been working great for me. So I'm a testament that, you can invest in Chicago, you can invest in the Chicago suburbs. I've also invested in Northwest Indiana. I went to Notre Dame, so I have a couple of properties around campus over there, and that's been going well too. But here's a real life example. So this is 4 years ago, my very, very first property. Barely used a contractor on this. It was me, my dad, my brother-in-law, some of my cousins. We just kind of tag teamed it. I bought it for $89,000, and within 4 months, I got an appraisal of this property. I refied it at $190,000. So I bought it at $89,000, and it got reappraised at $190,000 3 to 4 months later. When you go back to the bank and you say, hey, what's this new value? They say, oh, it's $190,000. They'll give you 75% LTV loan back, right? So they'll say, okay, you can refi it. We'll pay off that first mortgage. You're going to get a new mortgage at 75% of the new value of the $190,000. So when they gave me that money back, I got a 15-year term at the $142,000. Long story short, after paying off the first mortgage with this $142,000, I paid off the first mortgage. I paid off the $27,000 in rehab to fix up the property. I paid off $10,000 for the closing costs and holding costs for the 4 months that I had the property without renting it. I got all my money back, every penny, and I got paid $16,000 for the house. So after the refi went through, I'm plus $16,000 in cash, and I'm sitting on a fully refied house ready to be rented. I now rent this property out for it went up a little bit recently, but about $2.4 thousand a month. My mortgage on the 15-year term is $1,500, so I'm making $800 to $1,000 a month in cash flow from this house. All my properties I put on a 15-year term. 30-year terms are a ripoff. You're going to pay double, if not triple, the cost of the house at the end of the term. I have 4 little kids, 7, 5, 3, and 2 years old. They're all roughly going to be in college in about 15 years, hopefully. In 15 years, I'll be sitting on a bunch of properties fully paid that I can pull equity from, sell, grab that cash flow for college, for emergencies, for retirement. So all my properties are on a 15-year term. So when I do my analysis in terms of cash flow and the refi, I always look at the 15-year term. So now this property is worth, 4 years later, $280,000. And in 4 years, my net worth equity is 150 grand in this one house. So in this one house, the very first house that sold me on real estate, my net worth improved to $150,000. I make $1,000 a month in cash flow, and I didn't pay a penny for it. So this model, more or less, is what I've been doing with the other 14 houses. Just copy and paste. Now I did flip 6 or so or 7 or so of those houses, just to raise capital, get some more cash flow coming in, and to seed the next round of long-term holds. But this is the model. This is the BRRRR model. This is the beauty of it. Even today, Joe and I submitted an offer in Wilmington. It's a little south of Elwood. I have other properties a little more north, but coincidentally, in Wilmington, I submitted an offer today. I think it was like $75,000, and my comp showed that it could be worth $250. So that it would follow this same exact model, which is great, right? So at the end of the day, I spent $0 for the property. I got paid 16 grand after the refi. I make $800, now I make $1,000 a month because I also rent out the second garage far in the back. I'm sitting on 150 grand in equity. My mortgage gets fully paid off by the tenant, and the equity has gone up a lot over the past 4 years, as you know. How did I do it in terms of money? So like I said, I had about 30 grand in cash. So I used that 30 grand to pay for the closing costs the day I bought the property. And then I had good credit. So I used credit cards and whatnot to pay the contractor, that I have for some of the stuff that we were doing. But me and my dad went to Home Depot a lot, went to Menards. I used credit cards, and that's how I paid it all off. And then after the refi, I paid myself back on all of this, paid off all the credit cards, and I was good to go. Any questions on that first property, by the way? I know I'm going fast just because of time. Yeah.
Real quick, so when you did the first rehab, since you bought it, has this, I'm only familiar with like Cook County, Chicago, but did anything, you said you were renting the garage in the back?
Yeah, so there's a attached single garage, but in the far back there's a double car garage in the alley. Yeah.
So you're renting the garage out to other people?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, all right, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, so here now, present day, I rent this house for $2,100, and the far back garage I rent for $150.
Got it.
Yeah, but it's in the far alley, about 30 yards back.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Another thing, you didn't mention, but because the bank only lends you 75%, you have 25% equity.
Well,
instantly.
that's exactly what I mean. So the 25% equity over time has grown to the 150. Exactly right.
But instantly, even
Exactly
as soon as you
right.
close, you got 25% equity.
Yeah. So 25%. So at the time, after 4 months, right? After 4 months of me
Right.
fixing it up, it was worth 190. So 25% of 190 is what, roughly 45,000 or so. So immediately I have $50,000 in equity.
Plus the 16 you took out.
Yes, plus the 16. And then 4 years later now, because of market appreciation, that equity now is 150. I mean, it's a no-brainer, man.
Win-win-win.
Yeah, and I compare it to like, okay, what were the other things I was doing to generate money back in the day before real estate? Okay, S&P 500 index, right, on the stock market. Really, I think that's all I was doing. Crypto, right, which was like up and down. I mean, this is the game changer, man. This is what I'm hanging my hat on. I like, as opposed to crypto and all the other stuff, I can touch and feel this. I can work with it with my hands. I see it in front of me. I know what it is. I have all this market data around me because there's tons of houses around it. I know what they're worth and what my house is worth. I mean, I understand it. So I'm sold on real estate. That's why 4 years later, I have a bunch of properties. I became a realtor 6 months ago, and I'm going to go 10 times faster the next year or two. So like, I'm sold on it.
Where do you live and where are these properties? Like, what's
Yeah.
the radius?
Yeah, I go where the deals are. So I'm in Winfield. I'm by Wheaton. So
Okay.
I have properties in Cary, Elwood. I had them in New Lenox, Joliet, Alsip, South Bend. Yeah, so it's a pretty wide radius. Like all the Illinois properties are within 45 minutes to an hour from me.
Okay.
Other than the South Bend properties, that's about 2 hours. But I love South Bend because that's where I went to school and go to football games and all that.
With that many properties, do you just manage them yourself, or do you work with a property manager? Is it
No,
kind of
right,
like a
right now,
family
right
member?
now, right now, it's all me. Yeah, right now it's all me. That might change soon, but right now it's all me. I'm a penny cruncher, so I'm like, I'm not ready to pay somebody yet if I
Right,
can
yeah,
just do
so-
it.
Yeah.
But in essence, I have 3 jobs. Technically, I still work in the corporate world, but I'm phasing away little by little. I became a realtor, which I need to become better at. I just gotta market myself to people. And third, I'm an investor, which I love and I'm passionate about, and this is what I've been doing for the past 4 years.
Last question, why did you become a realtor, since you were already doing it?
One, I can make the commissions, right, for all the buys and sales that I have. 1, 2, quicker access to the MLS. I don't have to wait for a realtor and wait for them to do all the work for me and looking for houses and doing the contracts and all that. 3, it forces me to network. So I became a realtor because now, look, I'm on Charles. If I hadn't become a realtor, I would not be here talking to you today. I'd probably still be doing this in a bubble by myself in my house with my wife, right? I mean, now I'm Charles is forcing me to do events like this, right? I love it, I'm kidding. But I have a team of realtors I work with. Joe helps me now. Charles helps me a ton. One of the houses in South Bend I purchased was from Charles. It's forcing me to surround myself with like-minded folks, honestly. That's the true reason why I did it. The commission doesn't hurt, obviously, when I buy and sell my own properties, but that wasn't the primary reason why I did it. But when I became sold on real estate, I started asking myself, well, how do I get more involved in it, right? And becoming a realtor, joining a team, all that was part of the mind process. Plus, I have access to all these cool tools like Remine, Relist on the MLS. So now I can do data searches where other brokers really didn't understand. I can look up distressed properties in counties, tax liens. I can look up potential clients who might be interested in selling based on their age, demographic, house prices, when they bought, how much equity they're sitting on. So all this data and software I didn't have access to before, but now I do. And I've been training like crazy on it the past 6 months. So I'm going to leverage that data and knowledge to drive this more. The hardest part of the real estate right now is just finding the deals. Once I have the deals, I can run it all day, like the back of my hand. Now I have contractor network and all that. But finding deals is the name of the game. But having more data, more knowledge, more network, it makes it a little bit easier, right?
Right.
How much time do I have left, Joe?
The iPad.
Oh, it went dark. It went dark. 10 minutes maybe?
It's 7:02.
Okay. Oh man, they're about to draft Caleb soon. If you hear Caleb Williams, let me know. All right. All right. My last example, my second and last example. Alsip, actually not too far from where I grew up. This is a 2-unit. 1 unit here, 1 unit here. So same exact model, copy and paste, right? I bought this in January 2023, so a little over a year ago. I bought it for $140. I put $25 in, plus you always got to add all the fees and crap when you pay attorneys and title companies and all that. So the $25 of rehab, $12 of all those additional fees. I refinanced it 4 months later for $255. So the value went up from $140 to $255 in 4 months. Once again, I put it on a 15-year term at 100 and got the 190. Paid myself back $14,000 after the refi. I now rent it for $3.2. My mortgage is $2,200. I make $1,000 a month. Now the property. So keep in mind, I bought it for $140 in January. Okay. Now the property is worth $300. So $115,000 in equity in what? 15 months. And it's a 2-unit, so that cash flow is nice, right? With the 2 units. So I rent them out each for, I think this one goes for $1,550 and the other one goes for $1,700 or so. So at the end of the day, after the refi, once again spent $0 out of pocket, got paid $14,000 by the bank 4 months later, make $1,000 a month in cash, sitting on $115,000 of equity in 14 months, and the property continues to go up. Yeah.
You got a refinance in 4 months?
Yeah.
You didn't have any seasoning issues?
I know a lender who doesn't give me those issues, yeah. Yeah.
What are you good for? Answer, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Where are you finding your properties? Oh, found on Zillow?
Yeah, so this one was found on Zillow. And the other property was, here. So if you're new and you don't have access to MLS and you're not obsessed with me with, some of you might use TikTok and Snapchat and all that. I'm on Zillow, Redfin, and Trulia all day, every day, just constantly searching, man. So I found it. It had been on the market for a while, and just seized it. It actually went pending, and I noticed it fell off. Immediately called the selling agent, like, hey, what happened? Let me give you my offer, and then boom, I was ready.
What was
to
the
go.
listing price, do you remember?
I think it was like 150.
Oh, that's it, okay.
Yeah.
What was your rate on the 15-year?
Right now,
I mean, what was it when you refinanced?
well, I'm still sitting on the same refi, so I think it's like 7, something like that.
7?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
What's it today? Is it?
it's still the same. Yeah. So the one catch with that seasoning period
Yeah.
went into effect right when I went to refi this in early 2023.
Okay.
So prior to 2023, I had zero problem getting a refi done in less than 12 months.
Okay.
But I think in February or March 2023, Freddie and Franny instilled that rule because of COVID and the concerns with the health of the market. So they enforced that 12-month seasoning period.
Mhm.
I found a lender. Now that's from the secondary market, Freddie and Franny. I'm using a bank who does their loans in-house. And that's how I'm getting these periods done. The only catch to the refi in less than 12 months is that you can't prepay the whole loan the first 3 years.
Oh, you're prepaid?
Yeah, you can't prepay the
Yeah.
loan in 3 years. But I'm not prepaying. I wasn't going to prepay this anyway.
Well, Joe was gonna, but.
yeah, right. So, yeah.
Is your-
Actually, I'm doing another refi right now. And I bought the property in January. And today's April, and he literally emailed me an hour ago with all the terms for a 15, 20, and a 30-year refi for June. I'm scheduled for June for the refi.
Is it DSCR or is it your personal name?
It's under my LLC. Yep. You have something?
Yeah, is your goal to let themselves pay them off, or if you had money to only pay these all off, or just write it out?
No, man. I mean, no. If I get the money, I'm gonna buy another property. So like, you just gotta weigh the risk reward. So if I get tons of cash, I could pay this off at a 7% interest rate, right? But could I use that same money and buy another property that's making me 100% return, 200% return versus paying off a 7% interest rate? So it's just a cost reward of looking at if it's worth it. I like buying more properties and doing these models. I just copy and paste this over and over again. It's not rocket science. Once you do it one time, you kind of get the feel for it, and you just keep doing it. That loan I didn't want to use my cash on. That one I got a personal loan. I had pretty good credit, and I got like a $60,000 personal loan in my name, and then I paid it all off when I was done with the house. Oh yeah, and then so here are some of the houses. So that was 4 years ago yesterday. That's after we got ready to rent it, my wife and my babies. Like I said, the first house, my dad's been awesome, man. He's like my consultant and my lead consultant. And my GC helping me with permits and all that. So Dad, you're the best. But he's been with me in every single property. So like we don't do the work anymore, but we check in on the contractor. There's some touch-ups. We go in there and fix it up a little bit. This is my pride and joy. This is the first one my dad actually partnered with me on financially, which was really cool a couple years ago. So this is, we're hoping this becomes an Airbnb very soon for Notre Dame. Right now we're just renting it, but that's literally like 3-4 blocks east of Notre Dame campus, so perfect for parking for Irish football games and all that. So it was a distressed home. It was an abandoned home. It was a squatter's home. It was very ugly, but got looking nice and pretty. That's the Alsip property. That's my tenant. This one was the one in Wilmington. This was in New Lenox. Bought it for $90, sold it for $280, $290. This is another one in New Lenox. See, my family goes with me everywhere I go. You might see them in a little bit. They're driving around. They don't want to disrupt you guys with crying and yelling. So my 4 kids are with my wife somewhere around here. This is New Lenox as well. New Lenox. Yeah. Oh, this is Cary. This is the one that I'm refining soon. My cousin is a union painter. He helps out from time to time. Yeah, so right now I'm sitting on 3 right now. So before I was doing poor man's investing, right? I would do 1, wait for it to get refi, get my money back, then do it again. But you got to wait like 5-6 months, right? So now I'm going a little bigger and faster. I have my uncle, my dad's brother, who now is my lead investor. So that's been helping me go fast. So now I'm sitting on 3 properties at one time: Lombard, Cary, and South Bend's not on this, but yeah, all the same model. Lombard is a gold mine. I'm very happy I got that one. That was an off-market deal through a cousin of mine who knows I like to buy ugly houses. So she told me about that one. So real quick, I'll wrap up. I think I got like a minute left. I'm going bigger and faster. I'm sold on the power of real estate. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I don't have a boss. I'm the boss. I call the shots. I don't have to ask for vacation time. I don't have to wake up at a certain time. Like, it's all on my terms. I absolutely love it. I plan to be fully dedicated to it in a few years when I get away from the corporate world. I formed my LLC about a year ago, became a realtor 6 months ago. My uncle there is my lead investor now. He was a big shot at Allstate as an executive. He was the lead of their asset management for 15 years, overseeing all the commercial properties they invested in. So whenever you guys buy insurance, all those premiums, they were going to him as asset management. So he's my lead investor now, helping me go bigger and faster. He likes what I'm doing. He trusts what I'm doing. And this year we're going to do all single family homes. Next year we're going to start going into commercial properties. Yeah, I'm also a realtor though, guys. So I can sell and buy normal houses too. So if you need anything, let me know. I wouldn't mind a pity sale. I have Facebook, Instagram, Google, all that. You can find me. Just look me up. I like to do funny posts like this, so I buy ugly houses. This stupid little post got me the Lombard house, which is awesome. I do email blogs. I got a website. Just look up my name. And there you go. That's it. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.